You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
I'm curious though, what does Onengiya mean?
Onengiya means nothing is bigger than God.
Aha.
The full name is Onengiya Ofori.
Interesting.
Yes.
Nothing is bigger than God.
Yes. Then Erekosima means don't nickname him. Don't give him another name that is not his own.
So are these names the reason why you now decided to move from Asari Dokuboh's group into your non-movement, non-violence?
I think so. I think so, yes.
So why did you leave? Why did you leave?
Well, I did not leave. I am still with Asari.
Okay.
But I have always stood for peace, for non-violence. I believe that the Niger Delta crisis is not just happening, and that we are going towards a generational change. A generational change that can be brought only by God. Only by God, not by force. See, there is no army in the world that understands the terrain in the Niger Delta. And these people are everywhere, in the street, everywhere. So we're saying, look, you can't kill all of them. The best we can do to win them is to love them like God will choose to love us. And that's what we have been doing. We love them. We hate what they are doing. We're saying, look, even if you call it a struggle, it has been hijacked.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to come to that hijacking. Let's just look at... Now, you say you've always believed in peace, but the Dokuboh's movement has a militancy.
Yes, Dokuboh's movement was born out of self-defense. At a time when the government felt Dokuboh would be a major challenge, and it's like you have to put him off the road. Then he was the president of Ijaw people, IYC. Then his people say, no. If you're killing everybody like Mashahari and whatever, Port Harcourt was just, people were just dying, don't bring it to our leader. So they supported him. And armed struggle was born from there. Because he was a leader and people supported him. So it was by chance, to me, it's not something anybody would just want to do. But you see, it came out of self-defense. So we begin to approach this and say, look, this is not what he meant. This is not what we are saying. What we are saying is, there are certain things that are not in place. Let's put them in place. Then we've not even known that it was like going towards a generational change. So throughout when he was in prison, I was his spokesman. Trying to say, look, this is what this man stands for. This is the truth about the matter. It's not because he wants to do this, but man cannot just allow himself to be killed. So it was born out of a lot of things that happened. That's the truth.
Okay, so how are you going to reconcile? Are you still his spokesman?
Well, like Christ will say, when the master is with you, you need not to fast. Alaji is not in prison. It was when he was in prison that I was relevant as a spokesman.
Okay.
That we're not having any kind of disagreement.
Okay.
Yes, before I was called by God. I had a confirmation that God wanted me to do what I'm doing. He was one of the first persons I went to. And I got his blessing. We can't do this thing. We can't bring peace. So by the grace of God, that blessing has been moving with me.
Okay. Yeah. So when you say preaching peace, how do you want to preach peace when you have... you mentioned that it's been your movement. When I say your movement now, I mean the agitation for better conditions in the Niger Delta has been hijacked. How do you want to solve that problem?
By the grace of God, it is solved. See, the present peace you see in the Niger Delta today is not because of the presence of military. It is what most of us are doing. We have gone to all the camps. We have talked to the boys. Cultists are coming to us. They are seeing hope and reason for living. We are saying to them, you can live again. You can have a family. You can be reasonable. You can affect your generation. We saw that and we are going into it. We have done a lot of programs for them. Like Soboma George would never see a Teketom. We've reconciled them. We're reconciling everybody. You know, the problem we have is that the government is not seeing what we are seeing. We are seeing a generation that has strong men that can go to the extent of carrying gun And we say, look, if we use these people, we will have a positive change. But our government must be willing. Why they will not accept us? Why it has not been easy to accept us? If you accept our offer that we are bringing out these boys and we will use them in the society, they will drop their guns. They will be part of the society. Then we will say no to violence. That no to violence will include not rigging of elections. It will include our government being accountable and reliable. Then we'll now begin to choose our own leaders.
Okay, let me just interrupt you there. You said accept your offer. Your offer is to, for want of a better word, disarm, quote and unquote, the militants. And then they become part of society.
Exactly.
Okay, that is your offer.
Yeah.
And then in exchange, you want what? Non-rigging of elections.
No, not that. It's going to naturally come. What we're doing is this. We're not only stopping the crisis. By the grace of God, we have stopped the crisis.
So you're saying right now that there's peace in the Niger Delta?
There is peace. See, there is so much peace compared to what would have happened. What's happening now in the Niger Delta is where we need help. That's why we're coming like this. People have hijacked it. Any small armed robbery, or militants. Any small kidnapping, or militants. So even the smallest person will go and kidnap one big man. And they'll call it a big name. So you cannot even look for it because it looks so big. He's in the creek. Meanwhile, they will put him in one house in town. So it's making it very difficult for us. And that's happening because the people that know those who are capable of doing such things, you have pursued them to the creek. We are saying, allow them come. We will be with them. We will monitor them. We will look at ourselves. Then we will know who are criminals.
This seems to suggest that your movement and other movements, the so-called militants, quote and unquote, I'm insisting on putting them in quotation marks, know the criminals.
Yes.
So why don't you just hand them over to the authorities?
Now, let me tell you why we will not. Now, I have told you before, the system made most of us.
Okay.
The system, the government, the method of living in the Niger Delta. And there was a struggle. Along the line, it has been hijacked. Now, we don't know who is doing it as in because of struggle, who is doing it for self. So everybody is mixed up. So we're now saying, look, because it is mixed up, whether you're a criminal, whether you're a cultist, whether you're an armed robber, whether you're in the struggle, forgive every one of us. Let it be clear that you've forgiven us for the past mistakes. Then we're going to start again. Then let's see who will come to do it for whatever reason. Because if my brother goes out to do kidnapping now, I think, well, sincerely in his heart, maybe he's doing it because he does not want Nigeria to shoot us this much. You understand? So we are confused for the motives. See, the Bible says, who can know the heart of man? Only God knows it. It is wicked. But practically speaking, because you do this in practical, you're not a spirit, you're not a ghost. We're now saying if you give us amnesty, we will now know and ask you why you're doing what you're doing. That's what we're saying. We need a start. Everybody in Niger Delta is involved in this thing. When Asari and Ateke had problem, everybody were either praying for Asari or praying for Teketon. Nobody was thinking of peace. So nobody is out of the problem we have in the Niger Delta. So we are saying from the government to the bottom, let amnesty be granted everybody. Because we have proof of people in government sponsoring most of these boys. We can't expose them now. They are our brothers too. But we are saying when you grant us amnesty and they do it, we will expose them. We will work with the society. We will work with the government. We will expose this thing. It's not helping our generation.
Now, what you're saying seems to be contradictory. If people in government are sponsoring some of these boys, it raises two questions. Number one, even they obviously have their own agenda. Okay? And so it raises the question of number one, even if amnesty is granted across board, because they have a personal agenda, are they going to stop?
Now, let me give you an instance.
That's question one. Question two is, what guarantees, you're talking about amnesty, what guarantees, okay, they say amnesty, and then, like we said, the people in government have a personal agenda. So they may now decide to say, okay, they now go to point fingers at the people they are not sponsoring because they have a personal agenda.
Now, good. Now, let me, the first question is...
what makes you think that they're going to stop if amnesty is granted across the board?
Good. See, when you grant amnesty to the people, we know that you use the youth, the young men. We're asking for amnesty for them now. And they will be washing themselves. For an example, the suggestion for washing self was suggested by Ateketon. If only Ateketon group comes in and say, look, we've laid our guns down. We're washing ourselves. You will be a spirit to carry gun and nobody know where you're coming from. Even Ateketon cannot reinforce if that happens. Because we now have a society of people washing themselves. So even the government, the politicians that are doing this will not see anything. They have a give money for gun. We're going to use gun to job. Whether you gun licensed. When you bring out your gun, we will rehabilitate you. We are going to do it secretly. Nobody knows who brings out any gun. Not from any particular group. It's open for everybody. Look, bring out guns. Those that will bring out their guns, and they are willing to bring out their guns. We are saying we need the world to witness that you said you have forgiven them from today. You will not punish them what they did yesterday.
Yes.
So we get witnesses to be part of this agreement that anything they do after today, they will have to pay for it.
Okay.
That's the kind of program we have. And we, as a people, want to do it. The youth want to do it. See, the most problem we have now is that our elders have a kind of disappointed themselves. So they are trying to be relevant with the young men's action. They come to Abuja, doors are open to them. I know the boys. We can do this. Meanwhile, most of them go and sponsor these things to continue.
Okay, before I let you go, let me just take you up on this issue of the leaders.
Yeah.
Because it's all very well for, when I say you, I mean all the groups that are coming together and working for peace in the Niger Delta and progress in the Niger Delta. It's all very well for all of you to come together, come for a program, say we're talking to ourselves as boys. But if you're saying that some of your leaders, if not all of them, have failed you, how are you going to change the leadership?
Good. Now, for an example, we have people like Kingsley Kuku. He is practically visiting these boys. Say, look, we don't need violence to move on. We know people that are, again, practically visiting these boys to say, look, this is your enemy, fight him. Come together, do this. We know these people. So we are saying, you as government may not know them. Allow us to choose our leaders. Then we will know the right people to choose. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
The problem now is that the leaders, the kind of leaders we have were imposed on us.
Okay.
We don't have leaders that we chose. Like what Kingsley Kuku is doing is on his own. So we are saying, look, this kind of persons, we will appoint you to be in office because the boys can trust you, because we can do things together, then we can have peace. We have nothing to lose. Just the interesting thing is that Nigeria should learn the generational change is going to start from Niger Delta. It will affect Nigeria, it will affect Africa, it will affect the world. What we are experiencing today in America will start in Niger Delta as change for Nigeria. That's where we're going to. So people should not be called militancy, you're angry, you're dying. It is God's plan to bring out a people from bondage. It is God's plan to change a generation. If it will not start from Nigeria, where will it start from? That's the issue. So, by the grace of God, we have the challenge of changing our generation. So we see it as a generational fight. It's not against anybody. Because you cannot do anything against the truth. See, Moses was not, a Pharaoh, was not able to say yes because God decided that he was going to have this.
Before you start climbing. Okay. We've had in the studio with us Onengiya Erekosima talking about the issues in the Niger Delta and his new, is it new now? His platform of peace
to
move forward the issues of the Niger Delta. You're watching AIT World. After the break, we take a look at what's happening in the world of business.